It has been 2 years since my groundbreaking investigation into the Kolebu Teaching Hospital mortuary revealed appalling conditions that shocked the nation. From the outside, the Kolebu Teaching Hospital mortuary looks like any major medical facility, routinely receiving dead bodies with each passing moment. But hidden within its walls lies a dark secret, a mortuary overwhelmed by neglect and decay. As I approach, a familiar, annunciating stench hits me, a reminder of the grim reality I first encountered 2 years ago. Sight inside is haunting. Bodies once again are piled on the filthy bare floors, covered in flies. The dilapidated conditions have only worsened, with water droplets from decomposing bodies pooling on the ground, unable to drain due to clogged and poorly maintained channels. The drains, now more choked with filth than ever, are breeding grounds for maggots and other vermin. Despite the public outcry and promises of reform after my first visit here, the situation has deteriorated even further, turning an already grim scenario into a ticking time bomb of public health. The storage rooms, already overcrowded during my last visit, are now beyond capacity. Bodies are decomposing at a rapid rate, creating a hazardous environment not only for the mortuary staff but also for the surrounding community. For the umpteenth time, mortuary attendants have gone on strike to demand better conditions of service. The General Secretary of the Mortuary Workers Association of Ghana, Richard Jordan, revealed that some attendants at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital are developing serious health complications, with others losing their lives.
Serious. We've lost over 30 in a year. Kolebu has lost 3 people in just this year. They are all dying everywhere. So many mess. So everybody is sick at the mortuary. In fact, there's nobody I can say is physically fit. If we should do a test on all of them now, I can tell you, is either the person is visually going impaired, is that the person is actually having a problem with his waist because of the lifting of the legs, or the person is having some kind of kidney problem, or maybe some lungs problem. We are working in very unconducive environment which is not fit for purpose. Many of them have been neglected beyond human use. It's one of the reasons why I want to even declare this strike. We want to show them how it is to work in the mortuary and how it is for the mortuaries not to be there for about 3, 4, 5, 1 week, 2 weeks. Those that we have charged with the responsibility of managing our facilities do not take us seriously, including the government itself. It's not only Kolebu which is bad. I think across the country, most of the facilities are deteriorating.
The mortuary's drainage system remains a disaster waiting to happen. Wastewater, now more toxic than ever, flows untreated from the mortuary into major drains.
The smell in here is absolutely unbearable. You can't be able to stay around for more than a minute. Now, it is alleged that the wastewater from the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, together with its morgue, flows through its channels, where it finally passes through this bigger drain which connects to the Kole Lagoon and finally settles in at the sea. This is unhealthy and poses serious health risk to the populace.
This untreated effluent contaminates the waters where local fishermen ply their trade, creating a public health hazard that extends far beyond the mortuary walls. Kojo Asante, not his real name, has been fishing along the seafront where the morgue's wastewater settles for over 20 years. Though aware of the situation, he continues to fish here with his colleagues. He awaits for the water to rise in the evening, believing it brings more fish to catch and sell.
Moche sa fish na mowe.
Yeah, because we say enemy new and once a watch num over work or you did in a tone one go for. We to me high bad. So Omu Abia will be by a Omunimadu, Ayara, at the Cramo Yard.
Man for forward and bomb. Because of problem, customs, still for medical monk. So, I can see the seer. I saw medical colleague. Any pay for not medical money.
Public health experts continue to warn that the untreated discharge from the mortuary is a recipe for disaster. The risk of disaster outbreaks looms large, and the longer this situation is allowed to persist, the greater the threat to the public. Director of Metro Public Health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Florence Kuchi, and her team conduct regular inspections at the morgue, describing the situation as extremely disturbing.
It is not acceptable. Channeling autopsy wastewater straight to water source is not one of the best. It has public health implications on the marine life as well as public health, because the fishes that are in the waters may consume that water, and human beings will also end up consuming the fish. They need some form of digesters that they will channel this wastewater into those digested for it to go through processing, treatment processing, after which the final source that is clean can then be channeled into the water bodies or wherever it is. It can even be used to water plants.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Pokowari Ampoma, acknowledged that there is a general drainage system issue in the morgue. Has stated that the hospital has plans in place to address these pressing concerns.
What most people don't know is that if you go anywhere in the world, okay, most cities have got a city morgue. Now, this city morgue is a morgue where if you find an abandoned body, hit and run victim, murder victim, or there's a forensic investigation, they have to exhume a body. That's where those bodies will be sent. Okay. Now, we don't have a city morgue in Accra. So Kolebu Teaching Hospital morgue has become the default morgue. So we always see hundreds of cases brought in. Now, if Kolebu decides that, look, these are not our cases, so we turn the bodies away, what will happen? You will see the kind of outcry that will be in society. But then we are storing all these bodies. Nobody pays Kolebu Teaching Hospital for storing these bodies.
Looking at the place now that is serving as a city morgue, are there plans to renovate the place? Because you go there, waters are stagnant in there, flies hovering all around. Do you have plans to?
Okay, so yes, so there's a general drainage issue in that area.
Right.
There's a general drainage issue. So we've engaged the African Development. We've requested for a grant. So the African Development Bank is coming on board with a grant to actually redo the sewage and drainage system for the whole of Kolebu. Because since Kolebu was built over 100 years ago, no major rehabilitation or refurbishment have been done of this thing. So of course, 100-year-old, most of them like asbestos pipes. Some of them have caved in at certain points, and so we need to redo the whole thing. Ministry of Sanitation, we are grateful to them for coming on board. The Ministry of Finance to support our request to have this project done. There's a new morgue going to happen for Kolebu that will be both a morgue and then have facilities for burial service, and then like funeral home facilities. So like a one-stop shop kind of. When it rains and it floods, the waters in the Kole Lagoon, they kind of back up into the morgue area. Okay, and so all that drainage systems have to be revised.
The Mortuaries and Funeral Facilities Agency, MOFA, established under the Health Institutions and Facilities Act 2011, Act 829, by the Ministry of Health, is mandated to license, control and regulate all facilities connected with the storage, transportation and disposal of human remains. According to MOFA, the current state of the morgue does not reflect the standards of a properly functioning facility, but the challenge extends far beyond the hospital itself.
Well, I've been into Kolebu several times. That is not how a functioning mortuary should be. It should be better than this, be it as it may. The challenges of Kolebu is not peculiar to Kolebu, and Kolebu alone cannot solve it as a hospital. One will expect that Kolebu state is better than it is now, but it takes money. And if you are collecting all these bodies and no one is paying for them, how do you run an effective and a very proper morgue? There are even bodies that the police officers that brought their case or handling the case are on pension, and they've forgotten about the case. Nobody is doing the case. As a nation, there should be a national discussion on how to fund these unclaimed bodies and other bodies that have no owners, unidentified bodies that happen to be in our morgue. Recently, we had floods. You wouldn't believe the amount of bodies that was sent to Kolebu after the floods. The numbers are huge. Police hospital is facing similar challenges. So that the issue becomes a cyclical issue, and nobody is ready to pick up blames. But it's not about blames. It's about coming together as a collective, collectively as stakeholders who have interest. And these things that happen have public health implications on whatever we are doing as a nation. Currently, all the fridges in Kolebu is down about at 0 it cuts. Why does it cut? It cuts because at this time, because there's a lot of post-mortem that goes on, it takes a longer time to freeze the body and defreeze. It will take a longer time. So if we have a freezer for these unidentified bodies, it will reduce the stench. But I'm saying that eventually there should be some budgetary allocation to solve this problem.
After the expose 2 years ago, plans were made for a new morgue, but financial approval from the proposal remains stalled at the highest levels.
There is a proposal of building a whole brand new morgue with state-of-the-art facilities attached, training school, audiovisual devices for learning facilities, for learning, to enhance learning and training. And it's stuck at the Ministry of Finance. So one of the things that I would like to see is to quickly get down into business with this construction, so that we see the new face of Kolebu morgue, and the existing morgue can be renovated and probably converted to a city morgue.
Every functioning mortuary should have proper drainage systems and digesters to treat the wastewater from dead bodies before disposal.